right, welcome to Your Time, Your Money, the show where your time is just as valuable as your money, and we know that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today we've got a great topic. It's going to be a little bit of a burst session, but I wanted to go through the 3 keys to understanding the sandwich generation. Right, Mr. Byers?
Absolutely.
We were just talking about that. The Earl of Sandwich.
This is a little known information I did not know.
Yes, it's what the sandwich is named after is the Earl of Sandwich, who wanted something to eat and told his servants to throw some meat in between 2 pieces of bread, and thus became the sandwich. And that's the origins of the sandwich. But we're not talking about that sandwich in today's session, but let's get started. As always, it's your time and your money. So the sandwich generation, this term has been going around for quite a few years, probably about a decade now or more. And this has to do with individuals that are typically right now in between the age of, say, 35 and 50 years old, where their parents are still alive, but they're aging to the point where they need to help take care of them. And they still have kids that are under the age of 18 in the household. So they're the sandwich. They're stuck between these 2 generations that need emotional, physical, or financial support. So the sandwich generation has really 3 keys to it. And I think it's important that if you fall into that age bracket or into that demographic of the sandwich generation, the first and foremost is that there's an emotional and time challenge to being in the sandwich generation. You're grappling with decisions for making healthcare choices for aging parents, and then also choices that are going to instill values into the younger generation. Your kids, investing time and resources into them as well, whether it's through athletics, whether it's through academics, or whatever it might be. But the sandwich generation has a lot of emotional and time challenges associated with them. The time needs of a busy household schedule during your work week for the typical sandwich generation is about 20 hours a week, meaning that the sandwich generation spends about 20 hours a week caring for either aging parents or for younger children under the age of 18. I don't know about you, Mr. Byers, but 20 hours a week, that's like another part-time job.
Well, seeing as how I have 5 kids, yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, they each get 4 hours. That's it.
Hour and a half for you, hour and a half for you.
No more for you.
None for you.
So, there is a time challenge there, and there's also the emotional challenge because, people don't want their parents to go into a nursing home early, and they don't want to see, especially with the quality of care of some of the nursing facilities, they feel like, hey, I need to take care of my parents and make sure that they're not in a assisted living facility or a nursing facility, too early. And both of those are emotional needs, right? Especially if you are in a situation where you're caring for an elderly parent that has to go to the hospital, and at the same time you miss a kid's graduation or a child's concert or whatever that might be. So there is an emotional and a time challenge for the sandwich generation that they have to weigh out and work through. So understanding this generation is very important. And the second part of the sandwich generation, their challenge, is the financial stress that it brings about. And we see this all the time as advisors, is that there is a lot of stress with caring for aging parents, getting them to where they need to go, and then while at the same time saving money so that your kids are in a better situation, whether it's by helping them pay for college or getting them started, paying for their wedding, or perhaps helping them into a first home. And it builds a lot of financial stress into a household. Approximately 15% of middle-aged adults provide support to both kids and parents. So it's a growing part of our demographic. It's a large part of our nation and the problems that middle-aged parents have nowadays. That struggle with college costs can't be outweighed. A lot of times people can't put money away towards their kids' college because they're helping fund parts of medical bills and stuff like that for their aging parents or the grandparents that are out there. And I don't think grandparents ever want their kids to suffer because of them. But in average, the average household in a sandwich generation has $12,000 a year more credit card debt than other households. So it does financially weigh on a household, and it shows in the numbers nationwide. So you want to make sure that you have a good plan of how to tackle these costs. And sitting down with an advisor, sitting down with a elder care attorney and a good accountant can help you start formulating a plan that can alleviate some of these financial burdens that are on you from the aging generation and from the younger generation coming behind you. On average, the sandwich generation caregiver is setting aside about $43,000 currently for their own care. So what that means is they're seeing the problems that they're facing with their parents, and they don't want to leave that problem to their kids. So people are putting away more money into long-term care products or other products that are out there to help alleviate that problem on their children. So right now, on average, about $43,000 per sandwich generation household is being put away into some type of area that's going to help protect their kids from that financial stress that they're going through. And the third point to make out for the sandwich generation is, if you really engage your children in the conversation about caring for their elders, it does allow a family to thrive. And I bring that up because, kids learn from example. And one of the best things that you can teach your kids is that as people age, they shouldn't be discarded. And unfortunately, that's in today's society a lot is as people age, I'm going to put them in a home. I'm going to, and they set people out to pasture. And unfortunately, that gets ingrained in the younger generation, and they see how you care for your parents or your grandparents or great-grandparents. And sandwich generation, if you're handling the emotional and time challenge and the financial stress appropriately, it's a great learning example for the younger generation. It shows the younger generation that to value time with their elders. It also shows the younger generation that they need financial planning and helping care for them, not just them, but their elders and their kids as well. So I wanted to point out those three key topics. Things that the sandwich generation goes through, just so you're aware of that. If you are in the sandwich generation and you want to find out some ways that you can cope with the different keys that I talked about today, you can reach out to Iron Tree Financial at 43 British American Boulevard in Latham, New York, 12110. You can reach us at 844-444-YTYM for Your Time, Your Money. Find a link to all our episodes on yourtimeyourmoney.net for your net worth. And as always, it's your time and your money.